Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the third part of the chapter, The Tsunami. And in this part, we are going to discuss a very interesting fact about the animals and birds. It is believed that they had a sixth sense. They can sense a natural disaster beforehand. Now, there are people who have different opinions about it. So, nothing is 100% sure or nothing is 100% unsure. So, in this part, we will come to know some interesting facts about the animals and birds. Now, let's begin reading part 3 of the chapter The Tsunami. Let's start with part 3 on page number 29. Look carefully at the picture of the boy and his dog and try to describe the things that you see using just words and phrases. Either the teacher or one of the students can write down the words and phrases on the blackboard. Now, children, here the photo is cropped, but if you look at the picture in your book, you can see a boy sitting very sadly with his dog. And if you look at the background, it is entirely distracted. Not very good to be looked at. So, can you use some phrases and describe the picture? You just think about it. We will talk about it later. For now, begin reading. Before the giant waves slammed into the coast in India and Sri Lanka, wild and domestic animals seemed to know what was about to happen. They fled to safety, according to eyewitness accounts. Elephants screamed and ran for higher ground. Dogs refused to go outdoors. Flamingos abandoned their low-lying breeding areas, and zoo animals rushed into their shelters and could not be enticed to come back out. Underline the words screamed. Elephants screamed. It means shouted. Underline enticed. It means attracted by giving some reward or something else. And in the first line, there is a word slammed. It means strike hard. So, somehow animals came to know that something bad is going to be happened, or some natural disaster is about to take place. So, they all go to different areas to keep themselves safe, and some of them did not want to come out of the place they feel they are secure. So, in this part of the chapter, we see that when tsunami waves came to the part of India and Sri Lanka, all of the animals know what is going to happen. The elephants started screaming, dogs refused to come out, and flamingos went to low-lying area. Likewise, many animals' behavior was completely changed. Now, this part tells us about the two beliefs in the world. Now, what are those two beliefs? We will come to know after reading the next paragraph. So, next, many people believe that animals possess a sixth sense and know when the earth is going to shake. Some experts believe that animals' more acute hearing helps them to hear or feel the earth's vibration. They can sense an approaching disaster long before humans realize what's going on. So these birds tell us about two beliefs in the world regarding the animals. Some are with the opinion that animals got a sixth sense. So do you know what is a sixth sense? All of us have five senses, right? The sixth one is called intuition. In other words, it means what inner voice tells us about forthcoming event. What our heart tells us about. What comes to our mind before an disaster takes place or before something going to be happened. So, in other terms, it is called intuition. Whereas there are some other people who believe that in animals this sense is very highly qualified. It is extended to a higher level. They think that animals who can feel the vibration of the earth, and depending on the vibration of the earth, they come to know about the upcoming disaster. They get to know about this. All in all, it is proven by the figures and the facts also that whenever there is a disaster or a calamity strikes, very less animals dies, whereas many humans dies. We cannot be sure whether animals have a sixth sense or not, but the fact is that the giant waves that rolled through the Indian Ocean killed more than 150,000 people in a dozen countries, but not many animals have been reported dead. So, we cannot be so sure about it that whether they can sense the danger because of their sixth sense or the vibration they feel. But it is sure that there is something that help them to get rid of these problems. It is seen that during a disaster, there are many humans who died, but the number of animals is very less comparatively. Along India's Kudalur coast, where thousands of people perished, underline the word perished, that means died. Buffaloes, goats, and dogs were found unharmed. The Yala National Park in Sri Lanka is home to a variety of animals, including elephants, leopards, and 130 species of birds. 60 visitors were washed away from the Patnangala beach inside the park. But no animal carcasses were found except for two water buffaloes. And about an hour before the tsunami hit, people at Yellow National Park had observed three elephants running away from the Paranangala beach. A Sri Lankan gentleman who lives on the coast near Gill said his two dogs would not go for their daily run on the beach. They're usually excited to go on this outing, he said. But on that day, they refused to go and most probably saved his life. Now, this part of the chapter clearly states that when in 2004 a tsunami takes place, 150,000 people died. But on the other hand, animals like buffaloes, goats, dogs are completely unharmed. There is Yerla National Park in Sri Lanka where one will find about 130 species of birds. Around that day, 60 visitors had died or washed away because of the tsunami, but no dead body of animals were found except that of two buffaloes. So, isn't it very interesting? Don't you think if humans have such a sixth sense like these animals and birds, they would have been saved from any calamities? It's true. So, what is the lesson that we can take from this chapter? The moral of the story, or we should say the article, is we should not be afraid in any kind of situation and try hard to get out of that and should help others. This chapter is included in your syllabus so that you take a moral lesson on how bravery and courage in difficult time can save our lives. This chapter also tells us to help and care for others in many times or and particularly in the time of disaster. We can also take the lesson to keep ourselves calm and cool and act in a proper way whenever any natural disaster or calamity occurs. This chapter gives us a lot of knowledge about such calamities, right? How does tsunami occur? What should we do at that time? What are the signs of tsunami? I hope you remember that video that you have seen when we were doing the explanation of part 1, right? So students, at the time of any disaster, or any difficulty, instead of panicking, follow proper steps which can save you, your family, and the lives of others as well. Another most interesting fact that we come to know after reading this chapter is animals. They are very sensitive. We should be very kind to them because they are the first to give a signal about any upcoming disaster. They are more sensible than humans in their behavior. So, this is a truly educative chapter. I hope you find it interesting in a way to follow it. That's all. So, let us do the question answer of the comprehension check. The first question: in the tsunami, 150,000 people died. How many animals died? The answer is, although no data is given in the story, but it says the number of dead animals was far less compared to human casualties. Next, how many people and animals died in Yala National Park? 60 visitors and only 2 water buffaloes died at the Yala National Park. Next, what do people say about the elephants of Yala National Park? The people at the Yala National Park had seen 3 elephants running away from the Patnangala beach about an hour before the tsunami hit. What did the dogs in Gale do? The dogs refused to go for their daily run on the beach, which they used to enjoy very much. Right? Next, when he felt the earthquake, do you think Ignatius immediately worried about a tsunami? Give reasons for your answer. Which sentence in the text tells you that the Ignatius family did not have any time to discuss and plan their course of action after the tsunami struck? No, Ignatius did not think about the tsunami. He thought that it was just an earthquake. So he took the television off the table and put it on the ground. His family did not have time to discuss and plan their course of action. Now, the sentence. The following sentence tells about the chaos and confusion. 2 of his children caught hold of the hands of their mother's father and mother's brother and rushed in the opposite direction. Next, how are Meghna and Almas's stories similar? Meghna and Almas both were lucky. Meghna was carried away with her parents and other people, but she alone survived. She was washed ashore by a wave. Almas climbed onto a log of wood. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in a hospital in Kamota. If Tilly's award was to be shared, who do you think she should share it with? Her parents or her geography teacher? If Tilly's award was to be shared, She should share it with her geography teacher, who made her aware of tsunami in the first place. It was this awareness that helped her save so many lives. Next, what are the two different ideas about why so few animals were killed in the tsunami? Very few animals were killed in the tsunami. Perhaps they feel the tremor much before humans do. Secondly, the animals have sixth sense. They have a more acute sense of hearing. This helps them to hear or feel the earth's vibration, so they can guess the coming disaster. So they run away to safer places. So students, take your time to note down the question answers in your school notebook. You will give me the completion report on Wednesday. I don't want any completion report today. Again, I'm telling you, take your time and give me your completion report on Wednesday. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.